Okay, so today's practice is for anyone that has a shoulder injury or maybe has a wrist injury, or maybe just want to take a break from the vinyasa style and all of the chaturangas. So as always, take it at your own pace, and if something feels uncomfortable, breathe through it. If something feels painful, just pull back. If you have a yoga block, it might be ideal to have one because we'll be coming through a few balancing poses. If not, you can use a large book, or you might not even need one. So to begin, coming down onto our feet, we'll just open out through the base of our feet. So taking each of the 10 toes and just creating a separation in between the toes. Now this may feel quite uncomfortable, and that is the whole point. We're trying to steady and calm our breath, even though in our mind we're thinking, my feet are sore, my feet are sore. Just trying to shift the focus away from the obvious discomfort. So if it's really, really sore, you can take the pressure off the heels by just taking the sit-bones in line with the knees. If not, coming down to rest gently onto the heels. We'll close the eyes. Palm of the hands are on the thighs or facing up towards the ceiling. Lengthen the spine here and gradually starting to take deeper inhales and exhales. If you have Ujjayi pranayama or ocean breath in your practice, just creating that restriction now in between at the back of the throat. So you're creating constriction. So you're not allowing all of the air to come in, creating a slightly audible wave-like ocean breath that only you can hear. When you're ready, we'll just take the palm of the hands onto the mat, untuck the toes, and gently just tapping out the feet here, allowing the blood to flow back in. We'll tuck the toes once more, taking the sit bones back onto the heels. Take an inhale and allow the gaze to come up as the hands come together in prayer. Gaze is up at the hands, maybe staying here or taking a slight back bend. As you exhale, take the hands into heart center. And on your next inhale, open out the chest and the palm of the hands are facing away from you. And the gaze can be neutral or slightly towards the ceiling for a low back bend. As you exhale, round the top of the spine and knit everything inwards. Taking the palm of the hands together, the elbows together. Chin draws in towards the chest. And syncing our movement with our breath. On an inhale, we'll open out the chest and we'll gaze forward. As we exhale, we'll round the top of the spine, knitting everything inwards. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. From here, just to open out the chest, lengthen the spine, roll the shoulders back. Take an inhale and extend the arms out long. Now bring the right hand underneath the left. We'll bend the forearms so that the forearms are facing towards each other. Now maybe we stay here, or if you'd like to open up a little bit more, take that right hand in towards you. take it away from you, and then take it to hold the two palms together, so the left palm. Take the forearms away and up towards the ceiling, and you should feel a nice space in between the shoulder blades there. Drop the chin in towards the chest and allow yourself to take 3 full breaths. And rather than the arms lengthening out once more, just taking on the opposite side. Take the left under the right this time, bending the elbows so that the forearms come to touch, taking the left hand in towards you, away from you, and then take hold of the right palm. Forearms come away, up towards the ceiling, lengthen the spine, take the chin to the chest, 3 breaths. Coming back to center, we'll unravel the arms, dropping them down by the waist. We'll take our hands onto the mat and we'll come into puppy pose to open out the chest. Forearms come onto the mat facing the front edge. Taking the hands further away from you, you can rest on your forehead, the chin, or the chin and the chest, just depending on how open you are or how early on in your practice you can take the pose. With each exhale, see if you can sink a little bit closer towards the mat. Belly button towards the spine. And from here, slowly coming back to center. We'll tuck the toes and take it into a downward facing dog, but we won't stay for long. If your wrists are really sore, taking your downward facing dog by coming onto the forearms and maybe interlacing the fingers into a fist. If you're coming with me, tuck the toes, take the sit bones back to the ceiling, generous bend in the knees here, gaze between the thighs. Warm up the back of the hamstring just by grounding down through left and through right. And gaze between the hands here. Option is to walk, step or float to the top of the mat. If you're floating, generous bend in the knees and landing lightly at the top of your mat. Now on an inhale, we'll take a halfway lift, the back is flat, the gaze is forward and the hands are on the front of the shins. As we exhale, generous bend in the knees, palm of the hands on the mat, and the chest comes towards the thighs. Rounding the top of the spine, take the forehead towards the knees. And allow yourself to really curl in here. Starting to straighten out the legs. The feet can be about a fist apart or closer depending on your practice. Take the 2 peace fingers, hooking them around the big toe, mounting the big toe into the mat just to create that sense of stability. Now from here, we'll micro bend into the knees and we'll take the chest towards the thighs and the forehead towards the knees. Allowing ourselves to round the top of the spine here. Maybe draw the elbows away from each other as you fold a little bit more. And now on your next inhale, see if you can straighten out the legs, follow the thighs with the chest and follow the knees with the forehead. Slow and steady in our breath, just acknowledging the shift of weight in our body throughout our feet and trying to maintain that stable stance. Acknowledging the weight in the head. And this just allows us to be a bit more mindful when we come into our balancing poses. From here, take an inhale and once again, palm of the hands are on the front of the mat. Now back is flat. You can come onto the shins, gaze is forward. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Palm of the hands on the mat, micro bend in the knee. Taking the hands and placing them underneath the soles of the feet. Again, the chest is in towards the thighs here and the forehead is towards the knees. Rounding the top of the spine and acknowledging the shift of weight throughout the feet and just trying to maintain that solid, stable foundation. Mount the big toes into the mat, and with your next exhale, straighten out the legs, following with the chest, following with the forehead. Spine is long here. Toes are mounting to the mat, sit bones to the ceiling, forehead to the knees. From here, bending once again into the knees, palm of the hand on the front of the feet. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. On your next inhale, we'll roll up to Tadasana, but really slowly. So taking the hands on the front of the shins, the knees, the thighs, the head, the neck and the chest are last to lift. When they do, roll the shoulders back, palm of the hands face away from you, gaze is forward. Strong in our Tadasana mountain pose, lifting up through the kneecaps and pushing the pelvis forward, engaging the quads, the glutes. Closing the eyes, taking a full round of breath. Letting any tension out of the shoulders, out of the mouth. But subconsciously we may have started to hold in our warm-up. And just meeting it with a little bit of softness. To warm up the body, we'll take half sun salutations, but we won't come through the chaturangas. Again, just to mind the shoulders and to mind the wrists. So from the top of your mat, pushing the pelvis forward, lifting up the kneecaps, strong, stable foundation. Inhale, allow the arms to sweep up and maybe the gaze comes up, the hands come together in prayer. Now as you exhale, fold forward, hinge from the hips. Spine is long here. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, gaze forward, hands onto the shins. Exhale, fold forward, maybe a micro bend in the knee. And as you inhale, allow the arms to come up, the vertebrae to stack, the gaze to come up, the hands come together in prayer. Exhale, fold forward and hinge from the hips. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift, gaze is forward. Exhale, bend into the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up, allow the gaze to come up as the hands come together in heart center. And as we exhale, we fold forward once more and we hinge from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, back is flat, gaze is forward. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale, arms sweep up, stack the vertebrae, gaze comes up, hands come together in prayer, and we'll exhale, fold forward once more, syncing our movement with our breath. Take an inhale for a halfway lift, gaze is forward. Exhale, folds you forward. Inhale, stack the vertebrae, arms reach up, gaze comes up, hands come together as we exhale into heart center. Coming into our sun salutation B, feet can be about a fist apart or more. Big toes come to touch and the heels can be apart, just depends what's in your practice. On an inhale, allow the gaze to come up, the hands are in line with the ears, and as you exhale, bend the knees and take the sit bones in line with the knees. Now lengthen the spine here, tucking in that tailbone, gaze down at the toes, make sure that you can still see them. If not, just draw back the knees and we're sinking a little bit deeper. 5 breaths. Hands come together in heart center, and as you exhale, fold forward, hinge once again from the hips. Inhale takes you halfway lift, back is flat, gaze is forward. Exhale, folds you forward. On your next inhale, bring the sit bones once again in the line with the knees, coming back into our Utkatasana chair pose, making sure there's length in the spine, tucking in the tailbone, gazing down at the toes. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And then slowly reach back to Tadasana. So we'll take that one more time. Even though we're not working on the shoulders or the wrists, We're definitely working into the legs, so just invite in the heat, it will see you through. Once again, feet can be about a fist apart or two, or the big toes come to touch and the heels are apart. On an inhale, sweep the arms in line with the ears, and as you exhale, take the sit bones in line with the knees. Gaze down at the two big toes, lengthen the spine, tuck in the tailbone, exhale, sink a little bit deeper, 5 breaths. Don't forget to breathe or smile. In and out of the nose, we're breathing through the discomfort. Hands come together in prayer, and as we exhale, we fold forward and we hinge from the hips. We take a halfway lift, the hands are onto the front of the shins and the back is flat, the gaze is forward. As we exhale, we fold forward, knees in line with the sit bones. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. One last breath. And as you exhale, coming back into Savasana, mountain pose. So now the legs are nice and warm, having a block or a book nearby just for our balancing postures. We're going to open out the shoulders and then build a little bit more strength in the legs. So as we did in the warm-up, extend the arms out long and take the right arm underneath the left, bending the elbows, the forearms come to touch. Now maybe you stay here, or if you'd like a little bit more, take that right hand in towards you, away from you, and then take hold of the front of the left palm. Now draw the forearms away from the body and up towards the ceiling. From here, really grounding into that left foot. So the right foot comes onto the big toe, and we're just gently resting the sole on the outside of the left ankle. Now take that right foot and maybe bring it to the other side of the left ankle, okay? We're going to bend and come into Utkatasana chair pose once again. So if you know that your balance is a little bit off sometimes, or maybe you're extra wobbly today, you can bend into Utkatasana from here. If you'd like a little bit more, take that right foot and bring it over the left thigh. Now micro bend in that left knee just to keep it safe, and flex the right foot back towards the right shin. Open out the hip by taking the knee back towards the sit bone and maybe coming into Utkatasana chair pose from here. If you would like the full variation of the pose, take the right foot, taking it over the left thigh. Now finding your drishti, finding something to focus on that's not moving in front. Bend into the left knee and hook the right leg behind the left. Now as we exhale, we'll slowly bring the sit bones once again in line with the knees, and we're coming into Utkatasana chair pose. Forearms away from the body and up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper into that right leg. Don't forget to breathe. Slow, strong, steady breaths. And on your next inhale, we'll slowly unravel. Take the knee back in line with the hip. Point the right foot. Take the forearms away up towards the ceiling. Maintain that separation in the shoulders if it feels okay. Now we'll take the right foot behind us, and we're going to imagine that there's a weight in our forearms, and that's what's bringing us down towards the mat. Now keep that micro bend in the left leg if you need to, and slowly, slowly coming down so that the torso is flush with the mat. Gazing down, embracing the wobble if it's there, and slowly we'll unravel the arms, and the palm of the hands are in front of the left foot. Micro bend in the left knee if you need to. Spine is long here, point that right foot, and as we exhale, we'll slowly take the forehead in the direction of the left knee, coming into half splits. Just feeling the length of the left hamstring. I definitely do. Micro bend in the knee if you need to. Now from here, if you have your block or if you have your book, take it to the left hand side of your mat and make sure that your left hand is directly underneath your left shoulder. Now we'll stack open the hips by taking the right hip over the left and slowly bringing the right hand. You can place it onto your right hip, roll open towards the right side by rolling back the shoulder, maybe extending the right arm out long. Now depending on your balance, you may look down at the ground, your gaze may be neutral, or your gaze might be up at that right hand. Some days are wobblier than others, so just see where you're at today. I definitely am gazing up at my right hand. We're trying to slow our breath. And when you're ready, slight micro bend into that left knee, and we'll gently float back into warrior two. Bend into the knee, extend the arms out long, open out the chest, make sure that right arm is in line with the left and that the left ankle is directly underneath the left knee. From here, we'll frame the left foot, we'll come onto the ball of the right foot. We'll gaze forward, we're on our fingertips, back is flat. Now taking the right foot in to meet the left, take the arms in line with the ears as we come back into Utkatasana chair pose. 3 breaths. Lengthen the spine, make sure you can still see those toes. Hands come together in prayer. Exhale, fold forward, hinge from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, back is flat, gaze is forward. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, slowly unravel, coming back up to center, stacking the vertebrae, roll the shoulders back, palms are forward. Coming into the opposite side, so having your block at the top of your mat if you need to. From here, we'll take the arms extended out long, taking the left underneath the right this time. Forearms come towards each other, left hand in towards you, towards the left side, and then take hold of the palm of the hands. Now, taking the forearms away from the body and up towards the ceiling and staying there. Now, creating stability in the right foot this time, we'll bend the left knee and maybe just the sole of the left foot rests on the outside of the right ankle. Maybe you come a little bit more and you take it over the shin, maybe over the thigh. Flex that foot back towards the left shin, keep the knee safe and take the knee in the direction of the sit bone to open out the hip. Now, if you're coming into Utkatasana chair pose, this is where you are. If you're coming into the full variation, taking that left foot over the right shin, now generous bend, the right thigh, generous bend in the knee, hook the foot, take the forearms away up towards the ceiling, exhale, sink into Utkatasana chair pose, gazing at something in front that's not moving and trying to slow our breath here. And slowly unraveling, we'll come back up, take the left knee in the direction of the left hip, embrace the wobble. Now take that left foot, pointing it, we'll take it behind us, we'll allow the forearms to weight us down towards the direction of the mat, micro bend in that right knee if we need to. Back is flat, lift up that left leg. Warrior 3, unravel the arms, framing the right foot, point the left, take the forehead towards the right knee. finding your block nearby, taking it to the top of the right side of the mat. If like me, you might need to readjust. Make sure that right hand is directly underneath the right shoulder, and we'll stack the left hip over the right. We'll take the left hand to the left hip, and we'll roll back that left shoulder to open out the chest. Now the gaze can be looking down, the gaze can be neutral, or the gaze can be up at that left hand. Maybe you extend the hand up towards the ceiling. 3 breaths. As we exhale, micro bend in the left leg, and we'll slowly float back to warrior 2. Sometimes a bit more graceful than others. Bend into that right leg, roll open the shoulders, gaze back, make sure that back hand hasn't dipped, sink a little bit more, slowing down our breath. Framing the foot, coming onto the ball of the back leg, fingertips back is flat, gaze is forward. Taking the left leg up to meet the right leg, we'll sink the sit bones in line with the knees, and we'll take the arms in line with the ears. Tucking in the tailbone, lengthen the spine, make sure you can still see your toes, stay with your breath. Exhale, fold forward, hinge from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, back flat, gaze forward, hands onto the shins. Exhale, fold you forward. From here, we'll step back, take the left foot back, take the right foot back, drop the knees and tuck the toes, slowly taking the hands in the direction of the knees, and we'll come into our camel pose. So from here, having the hips stacked on top of the knees, push the pelvis forward and draw the collarbones forward as you take the shoulder blades back to meet each other. Hands are underneath the rib cage, just resting on your sacrum, your lower back. Draw the elbows in towards each other, and the toes can be tucked, or you can be on the front edge of your mat. Now from here, just gently pushing the pelvis forward, allow the gaze to come up. And taking a slight back bend here, just keep the pelvis in line with the knees. Exhale brings you back to center, and coming into the full variation of the posture, maybe beginning with your toes tucked so that you can then untuck them and come into it a little bit deeper. From here, hands as they were, elbows draw in towards each other, chest is forward, spine is long. Slowly taking hold of the right heel with the right hand, and maybe the left heel with the left hand. Push the pelvis forward and allow the gaze to come all the way back if that is in your practice. Slow, strong and steady breaths. Maybe you're here, or maybe flip the feet and come in a little bit more. And when you're ready, we'll slowly take the hands to the sacrum. Bring the neck back to neutral. Take the sit bones onto the heels, just taking a few breaths. To neutralize the spine, we'll come into Savasana bow pose, just taking the feet out in front and getting set up for Savasana. So from here, take the soles of the feet in towards you and draw the knees in towards the chest. Now opening out through the collarbones here, draw the shoulder blades to meet each other and pointing the feet. Maybe you're here, maybe you extend the arms out long, maybe you extend up the legs, whatever is in your practice. I'm going to face this way. Whatever is in your practice. And when you can, see if you can extend the legs and just find a little bit of stability there in the core, and that sweet point between effort and ease, that you have a little bit of control, but you feel the challenge. Now we'll slowly exhale for a count of 10. 9, 8, and a half, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Take the soles of the feet in towards you. Gently tuck the pelvis so that the lower back is flush with the mat. Now extend out the right leg and take the left knee in towards you. Fingertips are interlaced over the left shin bone, drawing it in towards the chest and flexing that left foot back towards the shin. Now, we can stay here, or if it's in your practice, once again, hook the big toe with the left peace fingers and taking the sole of the foot in the direction of the ceiling, trying to straighten out that left leg. Palm of the right hand is on the mat and you're flexing the right foot back towards the right shin just to keep that also active. Now, if this is too much, try and keep the leg straight, but maybe just pointing it away. So you might not have it in the direction of the ceiling, but you're still getting that sense of length up the back. So trying to keep the bend out of the knee, keep the leg straight, maybe you point the foot, or if you're hooking the big toe, facing the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. Bending the knee and slowly just extending out that left leg. This time taking the right knee in towards you, interlace the fingers on top of the right shin bone and draw the knee in towards the chest. Taking the big right toe with your peace fingers, facing it up towards the ceiling. One side you might find is a little bit tighter than the other. I definitely think I have a tighter right hamstring. But again, if that's not in your practice, just allowing the foot to point towards the ceiling, but try and keep the leg as straight as you can. Breathing through the discomfort here. Take the left foot back towards the left shin and keep that leg engaged. As you exhale, bend into that right leg, extending the legs out long, getting set up for our bridge pose. Soles of the feet once again draw in towards you, and the palm of the hands are facing the front edge of the mat. Now naturally we have a C shape here in our lower spine. We want to maintain that as we're coming into our back bends. Take the chin towards the chest just to give yourself a little bit more length in the spine. Now from here, grounding down through the base of the feet, we'll take the hips up towards the ceiling, chin to chest. Imagine as though you're squeezing a block in between your thighs and you're trying to take your knees away from each other, like you're wrapping the inside of your thighs towards each other. Now push up a little bit further, and if your ribs start to flare, tuck them in and push the pelvis up a little bit more. Now taking the right foot in towards the chest, point the right foot up towards the ceiling and lift up through the left hip. Bending the knee, we'll take the right sole onto the left knee and we'll open out that right hip. We'll slowly lower the vertebrae back onto the mat and we'll interlace the fingers behind the left thigh or maybe on front of the left shin. We'll draw the feet back towards the shins and we'll take the right knee away from us and the left knee in towards us. Should feel a really nice sense of space now on the outside of the right leg. Cactusing or T-shaping the arms, we'll take that right sole of the foot, towards the left side, twisting from the torso, allowing our gaze to come over towards the right. Taking the head back to center, we'll take the knees back to center, uncross the legs, hands come in the direction of the feet, the front edge of the mat once again, getting set up for bridge on the opposite side, chin towards the chest, push up through the soles of the feet, squeezing the block in, pushing the knees away from each other, tugging in the flaring rib cage, push the pelvis up, ribs in, chin to chest, and taking that left knee this time in towards the chest, pointing up the left foot, pushing up through the right hip. We'll bend the left knee, we'll take the left foot onto the right knee, open out the left hip, slowly bring ourselves back down to the mat, and we'll interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, or maybe on front of the right shin, flexing the feet back towards you. Bringing the arms into a T or into a cactus shape. Take that left foot towards the right side of the mat and gaze over that left arm. Slowly rolling the head back to center, taking the knees back to center. We'll draw them in towards us. Now take hold of the top of the shins. Take the chin in towards the knees. Just giving yourself a big hug, maybe gently rolling out the spine just to massage out that lower back. And when you're ready, slowly getting set up for Savasana. Finishing your practice with any pose that you may wish to take before we finish. Feet are the distance of the mat and knees draw in towards each other if you suffer with your lower back. If not, extend the legs out long. Palm of the hands are up towards the ceiling, open to receiving energy. Chin to chest. Eyes are closed. Slow, strong and steady breaths. Staying here for as long as you may need. Enjoying the final few moments of stillness. Inviting small movement into the body if you are moving again. If not, stay here for as long as you may need, maybe 5-10 minutes. When we're ready, we'll roll over to one side. Palm of the hand guides us into an easy seat. Crossing the legs. Palm of the hands are facing up towards the ceiling. Lengthen the spine, chin to chest. Thanking yourself for the effort that you made to be on your mat and the energy that you put into your practice. Hands into heart center. Thanking the ancient tradition of yoga. Namaste.